Well, hello friends, this is Tommy Oaks and this is the Story Break. If you've been to the Story Break before, you might know that there's one thing I really enjoy, and that is stories about children. Stories that children tell. Stories about children telling stories. Any story that involves a child. If I ever run into you out there on the street and you have a story about your children or your grandchildren or some child that you have in school or in Sunday school, I'd love to hear it. I truly enjoy children's stories. Here's one of my favorites. A few years ago, I was up in a town in northern Indiana called La Porte and was at a church there. And a man in that church came up to me and he told me a story about his daughter. Now you may have seen in church buildings or in certain homes one of these famous paintings about Jesus knocking at the door. And very often people will compare that to the statement that Jesus is knocking at the door of your heart. Well, this father came up to me and he said he had one of those paintings in his home. And he said, the other day my daughter came up to me and she said, "Dad, I know what Jesus is doing knocking at that door." He said, "What, sweetheart?" She said, "He's delivering pizza." And that's the end of that. Well, thanks, friends, for coming to the Story Break. See if you can run across a child today and get a story out of them. See you next time.